Hello everyone, wait in the evening, I will be there, okay, is that all? So the victory has reached such a peak that I wish everyone a great powerful evening. Well, the victory has reached such a peak that Ukrainians are being evacuated from 60 settlements in the Kharkiv region. But the victory is victorious. Let's see what's happening here. On top of everything, Zelensky appeared in another video which can only be described as cringe and shameful. Remember, there was a video with the mother of a fallen soldier who refused to accept the medal for that soldier from Zelensky's authorities. I read about it, and here's the video. If you haven't seen it, be sure to watch it. And now, well, it's not exactly the same, but it's also really cringe, just pure cringe. First, about the evacuation. Look, up to 60 settlements in the Kharkiv region are under evacuation orders because of Russia. The evacuation zone for civilians has been expanded in the communities of Kupiansk, Bohodukhiv, and Kharkiv districts of the region. The head of the Kharkiv Regional Military Administration, Ole Senegubov, reported this. It is noted that, considering the possible escalation of the security situation, mandatory evacuation has been introduced in the Shevchenkivska community from 41 settlements. There will also be mandatory evacuation in both the Bohodukhiv district and the Derhachi community. And in total, evacuees from about 60 of these settlements will be transported to transit centers where they will receive the necessary support. Food and non-food packages, legal, psychological, and financial assistance. It should be noted here that these evacuees are then left to arbitrary decisions depending on whoever is in charge, as they say, through Ukrainian bureaucracy. So basically, well, they bring you somewhere, unload you from the bus, and you're left to go with your 3 blankets, 5 suitcases, 4 kids, and 2 dogs. And nobody cares. Previously, there were some attempts, at least moral ones, so to speak, or planned ones, like building some houses and then trying to settle people there, but in the end, those houses were given to whoever needed them, and nobody was settled. And I'm looking for the past. Last summer, they showed a guy who was evacuated from Donbass, I don't remember exactly from where, in Kyiv, and they asked him, "So, did the authorities help you?" It was Ukrainian journalists who asked him, and he said, "Nobody helped, they brought me here, dropped me off," and he said, "What am I supposed to do now?" There's no work, not much money, because an ordinary person doesn't have 100,000 hryvnias saved up under their pillow, and they can't just take those savings and start spending them right away. And some people have nothing at all, not even documents. And now the situation hasn't changed. On the contrary, it's gotten worse because there are even more people being evacuated. The points of contact on the front, the overall front line, have become, let's say, more complicated. Even more settlements have been affected, and it turns out that area after area is being affected as the Russian forces advance. Now it has slowed down, but still, one area after another is being emptied out and evacuated. Right now it's 60 settlements at once. Of course, there may be villages with only 2 or 3 people, but most likely we're talking about thousands of people. Where will they be relocated and what will they do? They'll reportedly get food and non-food packages and will likely stay in a gymnasium or similar place. And all this is because Russia is shelling Kharkiv and the region every day, and Kharkiv was hit by 7 guided bombs with strikes recorded in 3 districts. The mayor of Kharkiv also reported something. Well, for the sake of this whole story, it doesn't really matter to us right now exactly where and what happened. What matters here is that the same thing was happening in Kyiv, for example. That is, guided bombs, drones, guided missiles. And as a result, many different facilities were destroyed, including residential buildings. Now, in the Darnitsky district of Kyiv, search operations have already been completed in the destroyed 9-story building after the massive Russian strike. And accordingly, there's a story connected with the building that is hard to put into words or describe. You remember, right, when that shelling happened? Here's how it started. A few hours before the shelling, Zelensky was in Ireland holding another important meeting with representatives of Ireland. To this day, again, it's still unknown what he was doing there, why he was there, or what agreements he made, but taxpayers' money was spent. And he was shaking his fist and saying, "Ukrainians, hold on, there might be shelling. There's a threat. They're about to bomb. Just wait until I step out." And the night was terrible. In Kyiv, 52,000 people, an all-time record, spent the night in the subway at once. And then the leader arrived the next day and immediately started promoting himself at the scene of these very events. He even said from there that Putin is physically afraid of him. And he is ready at any moment, risking his own life to make peace, to fly somewhere if needed. In the end, they started showing very touching stories like this one, but honestly, besides cringe, it doesn't cause any other reaction. Supposedly, a certain girl who lives in the US came to Kyiv with her friend who also lives in the US. And then suddenly Zelensky appeared. Let's watch. This is a one-man, or rather two-man show because there are two of them on the screen. Let's press it. And what is she thanking him for? Why? It's absolutely impossible to understand. For the house being destroyed? Or what? Well, what? I'm already in the city.
Review. Something about the forehead. I live in Kyiv, Constanta. Your French is shaky. My hands are trembling.
You know, it's like Kim Jong-un when they show North Korea. He's always surrounded by kids, girls, soldiers. Everyone is crying, tears are flowing, everyone is trembling. And now the same thing is starting here. I mean, never with previous presidents when they were shown. Maybe they shook hands somewhere, maybe hugged someone. But this kind of cringe, like, oh, my hands are shaking. Oh, I'm like this. I mean, what is this? Who is this for? Who is going to watch this? To watch and believe that some girl, that her life's goal was to hug Zelensky so that her hands would shake afterward. Ah, Irina Romanovna, that's it. And so, well, she writes that in...
I flew over California, but for us, well, of course, I'm in Canada. To change the president, I remind you, from my woman.
From California, she suddenly flew to a region that was suddenly shelled and she knew about it. So can you imagine the logic of this story? That a girl living in California suddenly flew to Ukraine to hug the president. She suddenly knew that the shelling would happen exactly here, and that the powerful leader would be here. And whether she would be allowed in, that's another question. Now I'll show you what kind of law enforcement escort surrounds Zelensky. To get in there and hug Zelensky, well, you'd have to be some kind of superhuman, which of course this girl apparently is.
The best because he is the best leader in the world. We are members of the Ukrainian diaspora in the US. Today we gave an interview about our activities. We are volunteers, and that's how we got so lucky. Right now I'm in Washington. I enrolled in University for Politics. I will be asking questions about Ukraine. I'm nervous, people.
Oh, tears are just flowing, and now let's see how it all actually happened. Some thugs are surrounding Zelensky. The equipment for clearing debris has been stopped. It's not working because he arrived. There are people trapped under the rubble, but they stopped the equipment, stopped the work, so this man could show off there. For those minutes, however long he was there, even if just 5, there are people trapped under the rubble. Why on earth are you stopping the work? Plus, on top of everything else, well, I'll show you more now.
How do you like that, people?
How do you like it again?
The people. I talked to the president of Ukraine. The interview was filmed later. Thank you, Volodymyr. Thank you.
Kolyvin spoke with President Shows and says thank you for being with the people of Ukraine. So it turns out he flew in to be with the people of Ukraine who are lying under the rubble this very morning. This is, well, something unimaginable.
The UDBO strike is something unimaginable. Something unimaginable.
And look at how many goons are surrounding this president. Thank you. And by the way, over there in the distance, well, first of all, the journalist was chased away. That's the journalist who supposedly was interviewing him. Let alone some female volunteers who came from California just to hug the powerful leader. And over there in the distance, in the cabin of an excavator, I don't know what kind of construction equipment it is anyway, a policeman is sitting in the cabin. Why is he sitting there? But let's think about it. To work and help people get out from under the rubble to save lives. Probably not. Probably to create an additional line of security for the president himself. And again, at this time, the equipment is idle, no one is being rescued, but instead about 100 people are walking around and everyone is watching what's happening in this place. Well, I can't call it anything but cringe, honestly. Honestly, all of this is just terrible. It's awful. Why show this? Who is it meant for? For some girls and boys who still believe in powerful leaders. Yeah, but it's kind of strange. The further this goes, the more this whole story starts to look like those North Korean ones, you know, like before. By the way, they show him less often now, but before they used to show him all the time. Like how Kim Il-sung or Kim Jong-un gather somewhere with the people. The people hug them, the people have tears streaming down, it's like a new Amazon River. And here too, oh my hands are shaking, I hug the president. Yes, these are just hired managers, these presidents, these deputies. Why on earth are your hands shaking if you, who I hope used to pay taxes in Ukraine, hugged your so-called hired servant of the people? It's just about as huge an embarrassment as possible. Then there are a few more. Well, let's take a look at Poland too. In short, Poland is entering an era of conflict with Ukraine. This is another victory, basically, and it's so significant that even Tusk, who has always seemed like a friend, comrade, and brother to Ukraine, is saying, well, you know, maybe something's not right. So Tusk accused Ukraine of worsening relations. He stated that it's time for Warsaw to stop constantly demonstrating goodwill. This is despite the fact that he denied the need to strip Zelensky of that very Order of the White Eagle, the highest Polish award. And he said that there was no need because you would offend Volodymyr Alexandrovich. Indeed, he said that, and then suddenly something changed with Tusk. And now he is also saying that there is no need to rush to offer financial assistance to Ukrainians during the war with Russia. He prepared these recommendations for the Polish representatives at the NATO summit on July 7th to 8th in Ankara. And what did he say there? He says the following. I have signals that Ukrainian politicians have realized that the escalation of tensions is their fault. You see, Tusk is already saying that it's not the Poles who are to blame who deprived Zelensky of the Order of the White Eagle, but the Ukrainian politicians. These signals are coming from Kyiv. They began this move, which harms both Poland's and Ukraine's interests. I have signals that it seems this has reached the awareness of the Ukrainian side. Poland has offered Ukraine to have an honest conversation about the past and called on Ukrainians to make concessions. Good Polish-Ukrainian relations, says Donald Tusk, are in the interests of both sides but require goodwill from Kyiv. It can't be that only Warsaw is constantly and gradually showing goodwill. And the summit will in fact finally resolve the issue of Europe's responsibility for itself and Poland's responsibility for itself in terms of defense capability and effective defense funding. In short, something is going wrong, and here are these so-called powerful leaders. Well, this one. The video with that girl whose hands were shaking, an actress from the third row, clearly shows that they're already exhausted. It's just that the ideas of the Ukrainian leadership are about how to present the authorities in a better light so that, well, they can influence foreign political relations and here, well, naturally. A powerful head of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But these are the successes they've achieved. They've already quarreled with Poland, quarreled with the Czech Republic, quarreled with Slovakia, and with Hungary. That's already 4 countries, 4 out of 27. Already have a strongly negative view of Ukraine, and there are 3 countries. The Baltic states count as 1, but actually consist of 3. Yes, even yes, but honestly, it doesn't really make much difference there. Even if they send 4 boats, 3 dogs, and 5 tank crewmen, it won't really help to win. But Poland has a very powerful army, which is gradually transforming, modernizing, and expanding. And if Poland says, sorry, but we won't help financially or militarily, and the Czech Republic also refuses, then probably some problems need to be considered. But there is another victory. Here, in short, even the media published the next victorious, triumphant news. I read it and was just stunned. Sorry. Ukrainians are carrying out a special operation in Moscow. I thought they had already sent special forces there to kidnap Putin or something, but no, that's not what they're saying. Residents of Russia are suffering from a fuel shortage at gas stations and are searching for gasoline using a special service that Ukrainians can also use. This service is called Where's the Gas? By the way, it was coded on Vibe there. I read a technical article. The guy created it to help his fellow citizens. That's life. People are just living here, and suddenly some activists burst in and Ukrainians start massively submitting false information. As a result, Russians drive between gas stations where there is supposedly fuel, but in reality there isn't any. And then it goes on to describe how this happens. You read it and think, come on, seriously, what is this? Why even describe it? Well, even if this is happening, it's like kids raiding a school or something similar, or drawing on each other with toothpaste at summer camp. Is this really worth publishing? But again, that same cringe that I've been feeling for the past few months because of what's happening, cringe mixed with horror, I don't even know how to describe this feeling. If you know how to describe your own feeling, then leave a comment. And there's another similar video today. There's this deputy, Nikolai Tishchenko. Nikolai Tishchenko is constantly involved in some corruption scandals and is always going to court. And basically today some guy decided to accuse him of doing something or not doing something. Well, this is what happened as a result. That's not some guy, that's Kolya Tishchenko.
All right, take it for yourself. Come on, come on. We're going here. I'm hitting straight on. Yeah, go ahead. I'll finish it up.
So the guy either wants to throw a tomato at him or something. Tishchenko is chasing after him.
Come on, 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 come on. Let's go. Come in. Come on, come on. Come in. Let's go here after lob. Yeah? All right, all right. Well, go ahead. Well, go ahead. Well, I'm going. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm Shara.
On K and that, and subtitles from the people so that Dima Torzok would speak, but in the end we see that something is going on in that buy. Plus, there's also a minister of some kind of law enforcement. A law enforcement organization of the Ministry of Justice, by the way. Here, some guy is performing, some powerful singer, and he's singing in Russian. The Ministry of Justice, by the way, is also involved in all these language issues. And here the guy is singing Russian songs. I think he's singing Young Efremova, if you know it. Young. Well, sorry, the singer isn't that great. It's better without him. But still, they invited someone to sing. Subtitles are in Russian. Overall, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe someone there is having a celebration. Maybe, well, I don't know. But the intensity of emotions that's shown on television, on those TV marathon broadcasts and all those powerful media outlets just doesn't match up with the fact that in the center of Kyiv, a man is singing in Russian among the powers that be. But it's just so strange that I simply don't know what to say. He sings quite well, but again, well, I just don't know. It used to be cool before, and no one in the president's office insisted on everyone speaking Ukrainian. Then some YouTube screenshots appeared and they started talking about it. The operating system interface and browser were in Russian even with all these powerful leaders. Well, overall, I think we won't argue about these powerful leaders anymore today. Let Mopchik rest today, and yes, they powerfully begged me for the meter, I fixed it, and let's rate all this cringe with one unified impulse. Well, powerfully, what did you expect from all this? Powerfully, everyone is working, and the Ministry of Rhetorical Questions, which we keep asking how long, is also working. So everything is great, except for the current situation. Write everything you think about what subtitles did, and the only thing left for me to wish you is a good weekend. Goodbye, everyone. Just...
Well done. No one expects that such a delicate girl would have such an iron character. That is when a person hesitates. Good morning, welcome to my haunted house. I took it here. I took a little show here. Subtitles by Dima Torzok.